and we're live, it looks like. Hi, I'm Brian, and I'm going to show you a different way to make your car shiny. Instead of spending hours with the polisher, which you have very little control of the scratches with, we're going to actually sand to a 4000 grit, and then we're going to hit it with a quick polish. First thing you want to do, of course, is protect your edges. Regardless how good you think you are with the buffer, it will jump, it will get away from you, and you will regret the 1 minute it took to protect your edges. Okay, we're going to start with a Mirka brushless sander. They're expensive, but it's the only way to go if you're going to play in the garage, which is what we're doing. We're going to start off with a 1500 grit Eagle hook and loop pad. We've used the 3M and we've used the Mirka pads. I actually think that the Eagle pads last a little longer and work a little better. And of course they're a little more expensive. Okay, we're going to start off with this fender, which I previously cut with 1200 grit wet. Unfortunately, the 1200 grit wet I bought was a discount import brand, and it left deep scratches in the car. So we're going to be removing a little more clear coat than usual, just to make sure we get rid of the scratches. With that, here we go. Right now we're sanding at a 4000 grit, or I'm sorry, a 4000 RPM. If you're comfortable with the sander, you can pick it up. Unfortunately, you can't kick it down. That's as fast as it goes. All right, if you notice on the sanding pad, I have two arrows, and it shows you which way they're pointing. That's because when you sand off on an edge, you want your sanding grit to go out and not to cut in. So we are going out on the sanding edge. Now, I was wondering, how do I tell when my pad is worn out? Well, it's pretty easy. It just stops removing a lot of clear coat at once. At the same point, if you're removing clear coat really fast, especially around an edge, you're probably digging. Digging is bad. As soon as you burn through the clear coat, you have some repairs to make. And let's cut it there. Alright, we've made about 10 passes with the 1500 grit Eagle paper. You can use the paper wet or dry. I like to use it dry, especially in this application where we have some deep scratches. So now what we're going to do, we're going to wipe the clear coat dust off, and we're going to look for deep scratches. I have a floodlight set up right there, which really helps you see it. Additionally, any LED light, especially if your garage isn't lit very well, will also help you find your scratches. And I'm just looking for anything that isn't made by the pad. And we're looking pretty good here, but we're going to hit it one more time. Now, I have the advantage, since we painted this car in the garage last month, I know how much clear coat is on it, and we're not worried about burning through the clear coat. So we're going to hit this one more time, because I see one little scratch here, and there's possibly two here. So we're just going to hit those again. You don't have to hit the whole panel to remove a scratch, but my theory is I have the same amount of clear coat everywhere, and if my application with the Dual Action sander is precise, I'm not going to burn through, and if I do burn through, I'll burn through everywhere at once. But there's no sense in overdoing it. Set the sander aside, and we'll have one more look. Okay, that scratch I was concerned about right here is gone, as well as the two down here. By using the sunlight, or as I was, the floodlight, it reflects off the body panel, and you can see it's dull, but you can still see any scratches if you need them. Okay, now we're going to go over here, and we're going to use the Mirka 2000 grit foam pad. Now I know what you're thinking. I could jump up to a bigger pad. I've decided on this side of the car, we're going to go with Mirka basically. And my option with Mirka was a 2000, and then we're going to go to a 4000 pad. Now, this is a foam pad. Doesn't actually look much like sandpaper, but it actually is. You use it wet, not too wet, or your sanding disc will actually float and it won't sand. Okay, now we're doing the same area with the 2000 grit, watching our edges, because if you make a mistake, 99% of the time it's going to be on an edge. And you can cut it. Alright, we're just about done with our 4000 grit wet. It's always going to be wet. You don't have to go with Mirka. You can buy a 3M system. They go to 5000 grit. We've done the other side of the car in 5000 grit. Really, by the time you hit it with a polishing pad, I don't know if you can tell a difference. Okay, so that's about 10 passes with the Mirka 4000 pad. And again, you can see that we have removed some clear coat. Now, I'm going to wipe it off. The only thing I don't like about wet sanding is you have to wait for it to dry. But you can see now there's a real difference in the sheen of the paint between the 2000 and now the 4000. And you can actually see a very good reflection of the floodlight. And if you move, you can look for scratches. And I don't see any. So we're going to go to a 3M compound and a pad. And we're just going to put a polish on the paint. We're not polishing it this time. We're just going to put a little shine on it. Okay, for this, I'm going to use a Mirka polisher because it has a larger amp motor than most of the other ones. And you always want to clean your pad. This one's been sitting for about half an hour, but there's always a chance of getting some contamination in there. And you spray that to the paint, you're going to go backwards in time. I'm just feeling it to make sure I don't have anything on there. And now we're going to put a little bit of the 3M product down. Really doesn't take very much. Okay, now you always want to start your polisher off on slow, otherwise you'll fling compound everywhere. And we're just going to start to work it. Now keep in mind when you go over your edges, you always want to push outside. Okay, I'm comfortable with the polisher, we're going to put it up a couple speeds. That's about 2,000 RPMs right now, and you can see the sheen is already starting to come out on the paint. Now it's important here you pay attention and you know where your pad is, because the pad, if it hooks up on an edge, it will take your clear off in a heartbeat. Concentrating on making sure my pad is going out. And we can see it's really starting to buff up pretty nice. Okay, now, this is the beginning of our polishing stage, which we will not be doing today. I can look through it. It has a high reflection. I see a couple swirl marks, which will be removed with a foam pad and a finer compound later. Thank you for watching.